Welcome back to the Dynasty Arsenal podcast. This is episode 14. We're going into week 14, and my name is Sammy Tags. I am joined, as always, by my good friend and co-host Tags. And Tags, last week we talked a lot about JJ McCarthy, and we said it can't get worse. It got worse.
Which
Max,
I guess in a roundabout way is better for McCarthy.
Phenomenal
looked
day.
Even worse.
Well, not only did Rosmer look terrible, but Bryce Underwood had a bad game against Ohio State.
Go Bucks.
So JJ McCarthy is having an incredible weekend, and he didn't even play any football. So good for Max Brosmer, man. That's got to be the funniest interception I have ever seen.
Oh my gosh, an interception for a touchdown. That was hilarious.
Dude, full Will Levis just getting sacked. He's facing the side. This is what I can't get over. He's facing the sideline, and then he just underhand pitches it to the left. Like, he has no idea where it's going.
He's
no
like,
Vikings player.
He's like, fuck it, there's someone down there somewhere, and it turns out it was a defender there.
It was Ernest Jones that was down there somewhere. JJ McCarthy, I want it known that we back up. That's what JJ McCarthy is fully back.
And you know what?
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see
him this week. You know, can't get worse.
Yeah, no. Let's just keep saying that. Can't get worse than Max Brosmer. So on today's episode, we are going to do a little draft of players who disappointed in 2025.
Yeah.
These are guys who maybe you had some high expectations for, and they let you down. And we're going to talk about what that means, why it happened, how we got to this point where they disappointed us so much, and what that means for their value going forward.
Yeah, with it being
I'm excited
with it being the final week of the regular season, I would imagine these players are on a lot of teams that did not make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, for sure. Or teams that, decided to sell off at the deadline because there are some big name assets in here. Some guys that you thought were going to take you to a championship. Looking
at this list, it feels like almost like most of the names I have are names where people were buying them for contenders last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, and now, I got these guys on a few teams. And luckily somewhere I didn't need to rely on them as much. But I have some of these guys on a team where I'm now winning in for the playoffs. I'm in 6th place. The 7th place team has the same record as me. I have the points for a tiebreaker by quite a bit. So I literally just need a dub and I am in the playoffs. And I don't even know if I can start some of these guys. So we will get right into it. Tags, I'll give you the honor of going first here. The 101 for players who disappointed in 2025. Who do you
Honestly, got? I've got the easiest 101 for me personally, and that's Saquon Barkley. The player that lit the fantasy football world on fire last year has fallen off quite a bit. In fact, the entire Eagles have fallen off quite a bit. He's averaging 14.5 points per game this year. That puts him good for running back 18, which is not what we want to see from Saquon Barkley. He's only scored more than 20 points per game once this year, and it's been rough. And
after averaging 22 last year, he has one game over 20.
One game. So how do you feel about what's your outlook on Barkley? Are you holding or folding?
Folding would be what in that scenario?
I guess
just getting rid of him, dropping him,
cut him to
waiver
waivers,
wire
man.
Cutters.
He's out of here.
I mean, it's really worrisome just because there was a lot of talk this offseason about these guys who get 400 touches and how they bounce back, and I think it was Derrick Henry. I
said Derrick Henry too.
2021, but I think Derrick Henry in like 2021 or 22, one of those years, he was like the only running back that had ever gotten 400 touches and then improved their points per game output.
Yeah.
So there's an element of fatigue, I think. I think with this whole offense, I mean, they've played so many games over the past few years. And yeah, I mean, the offense as a whole, like you said, looks a lot worse than it did last season. And he's just not performing. I mean, the last 3 weeks, since the bye, 13.1 points against Green Bay, 10 against Detroit, 12.4 against Dallas, and then against Chicago on Black Friday, 5.6. This is a guy that is actively hurting you, and you thought that he was going to be your hammer RB1 taking you to a championship. So I'm probably holding just because his value is in the gutter right now. And once we get to the offseason, maybe he enters... He could enter the Derrick Henry range that Derrick Henry's been in the last few years, where nobody really covets him in a startup. But then he will have
you start to see him as a 1 to 2 year rental, essentially. And
Derrick Henry's been
if you're buying him, you're probably signing up to hold the bag on his value drop.
Yeah, it's like Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, these guys that have been like 1 to 2 year punts for the last 4 years. Saquon's kind of entering that territory, and it's unfortunate if you were holding him because you could have cashed out. I mean, he was going in like the late 3rd, early 4th of startups this past offseason, and he's obviously fallen a lot from there. We had a conversation a few weeks ago about a certain Jonathan Taylor who is doing this season what Saquon did last year, and this is just more fuel to the fire of why we'll be talking about how I think that you should be selling Jonathan Taylor come the offseason, because Saquon, Derrick Henry, they've proven that these outlier seasons from these older running backs, they're very hard to repeat.
And it's weird because the Eagles' offensive line hasn't been bad in the rushing game. They're
a
ranked
little
11th
hurt now, but
on the year.
You're right. Yeah,
which is fine. There's worse. Is there anything we can learn here? Because that's what we're trying to do. Is every year I'm trying to take something from that, and it's funny because I think there is something to the overworked running backs narrative, because we've seen this for years. I remember back in 2014, DeMarco Murray was on the Cowboys for his final contract year, and he touched the ball for over 400 touches that year, went absolutely nuclear, and every single season after that was never the same. He played it for the Eagles the next year, only had about 700 yards after putting up almost 2,000 yards combined with the Cowboys that final year. And then went to the Titans for 2 years and just never was the same player after that 400 touch season. And now we kind of see Derrick Henry's fallen off a little this year after being a workhorse last year. Barkley struggling this year after being a workhorse last year. So I'm just like, I feel like there is a merit to wanting to sell running backs after they went nuclear for a season, which to me means like, I got to sell JT. He's a bit younger, so I don't know if it affects him as much, but like there is a trend that we've seen for years now where running backs kind of have their wheels fall off after being run into the dirt the season before.
Yeah, I mean, JT is about a year behind. He's a year younger now than Saquon was last year. They're 2 years apart. So you're absolutely, he's a tiny bit younger. But the thing is, like, I think we're going to get to a point where you and I talked about it. JT's going to be at his maximum value. And
which is like right now.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're saying, like, Saquon last year, you could have made an argument he won't go any higher than he is right now. And I think a lot of people would have said that and still would have been like, okay, but somebody's going to hold that, and you can hold him at that value because you know that you're getting an RB1 season or like a running back one, like 1 to 12. And that's just not the case. You're just not getting that from him. And
it's funny,
he's not,
because most of the defense in it, for that point is like, well, Barkley's just different, which he is. He's a freak. But
he's human though.
That workload wears down everybody, no matter who you are.
especially a 28-year-old.
And we've seen it in the past. Like Adrian Peterson was the same way. Once the wheels fall off, the wheels are they're rolling down the road. You're not getting those wheels back.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that, like I said, he'll end up in this sort of late round, productive, older vet running back that contending teams want. But
for me, I'm holding him because you don't want to sell at his current value, unless you can find someone who still believes in him, can give up 2 late firsts for him. I would do that.
Oh my gosh!
I would just wait until, and hopefully he has a bounce back like McCaffrey had. Like CMC's value plummeted last year, and then he's obviously been incredibly productive this year, and his value skyrocketed back up. I'm kind of hoping Barkley can put it together next year. He's still going to be on the Eagles next year. He has the contract. I'm just kind of hoping he puts together a string of like 3 to 4 really good games next year, and then I cash out.
Well, the thing is, he does have a really good playoff schedule, funnily enough, for like this season, playing the Raiders, the Commanders, and then the Bills. 3 teams that are
that's
very,
beautiful.
Very easy to run on. So we'll see if they can. Like, he might
did he
add
just
a
become
few
a
big
buy?
performances. Well, this is the thing. When we did our buys and sells, or like I was thinking about putting Saquon in, but I was like, he's still being valued at like a mid first. I was like, I can't justify his current price, so I'm not going to put him on the list. But for
Honestly,
those who have him,
if it's like a mid to late first, if it's like the 108, would you trade the 108 for Saquon? Because I think I would. I don't know how I just flipped mentally where now he's a buy, but seeing that playoff schedule, I've got championships on the brain, and that playoff schedule is very nice.
Here's the thing. He also, I mean, Dallas have gotten better since the trade deadline, but he wasn't really able to do anything against Dallas. He played the Giants, twice in 3 weeks. The first time he didn't even score 10 points. So I'm like, I don't know if he's fully capable of taking advantage of these good matchups. And I wouldn't want to bet on it. I wouldn't want to buy this isn't a pick that's projected to be like the 108. That's not a buy low for me. That's a buy at his current value. And I wouldn't want to take on that risk. I do think that, like you said, I would hold, and maybe even if it goes poorly the rest of the season, maybe we get to July, August next year and he's being drafted in like the second round of redraft leagues.
Yeah.
Or the third round of redraft leagues. And people are forgetting about last season and the hype is starting to build up. Then you can try and move him then for a younger running back, for another contending running back. But right now I would hold.
Dude, his yards per carry is abysmal.
It's really bad.
It's really bad. Last few games is 4.3, 2.2, 3.2, 2.7, 10.7 against the Giants.
Yeah, his one big game.
And then it goes back to like 2.4. Like it does feel, as a Barkley owner, I've got Barkley in I think I have him on 3 teams. It feels like every game, like every Monday, I look at the scores of all my teams and I see his like stat line, and it's like, well, he did 17 carries for 60 yards and had 3 catches for 17 yards.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's very pedestrian, and that's not what you expected of him.
Yeah, well, what is this, Ramondre Stevenson I'm looking at? Like, what the heck? Anyways, that's my 101 rant, because Barkley has been tanking all 3 teams. They're still playoff teams, but like, I don't feel good having them in there.
So the 102 for players who disappointed, I am going to take another guy who this stretch at the end of the year here is going to matter a lot for, and that's Brian Thomas Jr. So BTJ has obviously been incredibly disappointing. He's a different case than Saquon, because this is a guy who had an incredible rookie season. Finishes as the wide receiver 4, puts up 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, and had a crazy back half of his rookie year, right? Like from week 11 onwards, He's scoring more than 15 points almost every week. He had a few blowups in week 15 and 16. A really good game in week 17. Like, Brian Thomas Jr. was probably on a ton of championship teams. And then he's getting drafted at the early second round in startups this past offseason as a
I think earliest I saw was a 111 in a startup.
Absolutely. And obviously being a first round pick, LSU producing wide receivers out the wazoo, and having an incredible rookie season. I mean, was he not the best rookie wide receiver last year? I guess Neighbors was still getting drafted ahead of him, but those guys were like in the same tier for a lot of people. And then he comes out this season, and he has one game inside the top 30 wide receivers. And it was week 6 against Seattle. One game. He was 8 for 90 yards and a touchdown. He has 1 touchdown on the season. He's been out for the 3 weeks before last one. And then he comes back against Tennessee, 3 targets. He goes 2 for 28, and he was playing all the snaps, 80%, which is his normal. So I don't know what to do about Brian Thomas. I think we've mentioned Shane Waldron on the pod a few times. It can't be a coincidence. Like, I don't think the fact that he ruins JSN and then he goes to Chicago and they're a disaster, and Rome Odunze has a bad rookie season. And then now he's in Jacksonville, and Travis Hunter can't get anything going, and neither can Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas also last year at the end of the season, that was Mac Jones. It was a lot of Mac Jones. It wasn't a lot of Trevor Lawrence. I'm annoyed now because I should have got the splits with Trevor Lawrence and with Mac Jones. But I know that a lot of his games down the stretch were Mac Jones. And can Trevor Lawrence not support wide receivers? Because Jacoby Myers just had a big game. Christian Kirk was viable in the past when he was there. So I don't know what's going on with this guy. I can't remember the last time we saw a guy finish this good as a rookie and then completely fall on his face.
Yeah, going from wide receiver 4 to he's currently like wide receiver 47. This most recent game, in the very first drive, the second play of the game, it started off with a Trevor Lawrence pass to Brian Thomas for 11 yards. And I'm just like, sick. Here we go. It's finally happening. They're going to start feeding him the ball. He's their best weapon. Like, let's get it. And then he just vanished the rest of the game. He had one other catch after that in the second half of the game. But they the first pass look of the game is like right to him. And then we just like never go back to him. It's just so weird. He's got 10.2 points per game in PPR leagues, which puts him good for wide receiver 47. So going from wide receiver 4 overall to averaging wide receiver 47 in points per game. And he still can't produce even without Hunter in the lineup. And
like Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington should not be limiting you.
Yeah, he's only finished as a top 12 wide receiver once this season, and 0 finishes inside even the top 24 outside of that one finish. So
dude, nothing in the top 30.
He's had one relevant game.
Yeah.
And players outproducing him in points per game, you are better off starting Kayshon Boutte, Romeo Doubs, Troy Franklin, Alec Pierce. Like, all these guys that should be your flex guys are outproducing what should be your wide receiver 1. So I'm sure there's a lot of startup leagues that took him at the 111 who are not in the playoffs this year because of that.
He's going to be incredibly interesting when we get to like looking at ranking him among the other wide receivers come January, because what do you do with this guy? Like you've had guys like Jahan Dotson comes to mind, where he's a first round pick, has a good rookie year, and then kind of just falls off the face of the earth. But Jahan Dotson wasn't the wide receiver 4. And Jahan Dotson was not the prospect that Brian Thomas was. So we just haven't seen this really. And I don't necessarily know how to react to it, because it's one thing for a highly touted prospect to come into the NFL JSN-esque, where they have a disappointing rookie year, and then you have to kind of figure out where to rank them. How much do you want to buy into the prospect profile? How much do you want to take from the rookie season that was disappointing? It's a whole nother thing for a guy to show you that he's capable, and then to completely fall on his face. And now I don't know what to do with him. How much of this do you think is Trevor Lawrence?
It's gonna be a common theme here. For all the wide receivers that have disappointed us, they also have disappointing quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's true.
For what it's worth, Trevor Lawrence has looked better the last few weeks.
I mean, they're 8-4. Like they're winning, and they've learned how to win without him.
They're not moving on from him because like they're winning games with him. Why would they?
Yeah, and he has the contract.
Yeah, I'm kind of just hoping in year 2 they just figure out how to use him.
3.
That's the only year 2 with Cohen.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, with year two of Cohen I'm kind of hoping they figure out the offense and how to use those pieces.
Yeah, it could be that he just doesn't know what to do.
Right now, Britton Strange is their wide receiver 1. He's Trevor Lawrence's first read on almost every play. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm just kind of stuck with him. I have him in a few leagues. Like there's one league in particular. Actually, one of the leagues that I'm in with you, I traded him at the beginning of the year. It was about week 4. Traded him and a second for Egbuka. And that was kind of a hot trade at the moment because it was only week 4.
Yeah.
And kind of glad I got out of him now.
Egbuka's been disappointing down the stretch, but yeah, not nearly as bad as this.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just a weird spot where it's like you can't sell him because what are you selling him for? Like I have a championship, like playoff caliber team right now that has him, and I don't know what to do with him. He's been on my bench the last few weeks because I'd rather start a Michael Pittman over him, or I'd rather start Hawkinson in my flex. And Hawkinson hasn't even been good, but I trust him to at least get 10 points. So it's just a weird spot. I've been trying my best to move him for like Brian Thomas Jr. plus for a Drake London or a Pickens, like any of these wide receivers who are like not the elite tier, but like we're in the same realm as Brian Thomas Jr. And I cannot move Brian Thomas Jr. no matter how hard I try.
Well, let's put this to a thought experiment here. I'm just going to give you a few names. Just tell me instant reaction who you would rather have.
All right.
Brian Thomas or. Okay? T. Higgins.
I'm a T. Higgins hater, so I'm going Brian Thomas.
Okay.
I was off to a hot start.
Chris Olave. Who has been really good this year, and he's getting funneled targets. Tyler Shough looks all right.
I'm probably going Brian Thomas Jr. just because of the age,
okay,
and the upside of his talent.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. What about Marv?
I'm going Marv.
You're going Marv. Okay, so you are directly in line with Keep Trade Cut. So those are the 3 guys that Marv is directly ahead of him, and T. Higgins and Chris Olave are right behind him. So that's sort of where he is right now, which is just an insane drop off when he was like the wide receiver 5.
His value like plummeted so fast too.
Yeah, I mean when you're
by week 5 or 6 after not being productive, I was like desperately trying to move him, and even that quickly, just like a month into the season, his value had already plummeted to just nobody wants to touch him.
Yeah. Who is your next pick here for players who disappointed?
With my 103, I'm going to take Cam Ward. And I feel like as a Titans fan, maybe you would like to elaborate more on his performance, but
yeah, we can fight.
Let me sum it up. Oh, you're going to be defending him?
Depends on what you say.
All right. 11.4 points per game as a quarterback. That's good for QB 42 in points per game.
That's awesome. How many teams are there in the NFL?
I believe there's 32 last I checked.
And how many quarterbacks do each of those teams play per game?
Usually 1, unless you're the 2007 Cardinals.
Okay. So if I'm doing if my math is correct, he's
not great.
He's worse than 10 backups. Okay. All right.
Sure
that's fine. Make your case.
Yeah, so he's only scored more than 20 points 1 time this year. He's only scored more than 10 points 7 times this year. hasn't thrown for more than one touchdown in any game. That's not what you want to see from a quarterback. Like, it's not good. No. I don't see it getting better next year, even with a new head coach, new offensive coordinator. They have no weapons. They have the rough offensive line. What do you think that his outlook is for next year?
Okay, so yeah, I don't need to fight you too much. Multiple things can be true, right? So he is not a good fantasy quarterback right now. I don't think he'll be a good fantasy quarterback next year. I'm not sure he'll be a good fantasy quarterback in year 3. However,
year 4, still not going to be good.
2029, I'm telling you guys.
But you know what? Year 5, it's going to be rough.
When the decade turns to 2030, Cam Ward, bye. Okay? No, so...
Okay, so he's having a Jonnu Smith career, where yes. As soon as he turns 31, now's the time, boys.
Which means we're holding. We're holding until then, okay? So...
Diamond hands.
I do genuinely believe, and I am not the type of person who carries a lot of bias for my own fantasy team, or for my own favorite team, but Cam Ward is not a bad quarterback. Cam Ward has had some rookie mistakes like any other rookie. He sometimes forgets to grip the ball, which isn't
happens
great.
To the best of us.
He gave, I think it was it Max Crosby? I think he just gave him, he gave the Raiders a touchdown when he was getting sacked and he just like let go of the ball. But he's done these rookie things that rookies do. However, he was a good prospect. I really liked him even before the Titans drafted him. There is not a worse situation in the league than what the Titans are dealing with. Head coach fired. Offensive line coach, who is supposed to be one of the best in the industry, fired, mainly because his son was the head coach. But the offensive line has not been good. Like you said, no weapons. We're looking at Chimere DK and Alec Aomanor as the 2 wide receivers, both rookies. We have a rookie tight end in Gunnar Helm. Calvin Ridley was bad and then hurt. This offense has just been completely disconnected. Our interim head coach is an absolute joke. I just think that while I'm perfectly fine if anybody wants to get out, I do think that Cam Ward, in a better situation, if the Titans can figure it out, that he would be a good quarterback. So I don't know what that means for how I should project his value, because if I don't think he's going to be better next year, he's only going to decrease in value, right? It's going to be one of these things where, I don't know, like he was never as touted as Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor Lawrence has kind of always been mid. And it's one of those things where like you're sort of waiting for it to get better and better and better. I do think that this is rock bottom for Cam Ward, and I do think that he is a good quarterback, and I think on some teams where I'm not trying to necessarily contend, I might be targeting him this offseason. I just think the Titans need a few more player acquisition cycles before they're going to be anything of note in terms of offensive output. Tony Pollard's been really, really bad. Tajay Spears was hurt and hasn't looked good. And this is just going to be a complete overhaul of the offense. And I don't think there's going to be a single skill position player besides the rookies on this team once Cam Ward is good that are there right now.
I'm muted.
There you go.
Ridley's not coming back.
No, he's done.
Yeah. And that's all I got. That's all the only people they have outside of rookies, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't look. I don't know if he necessarily. Okay, obviously he disappointed. I don't think the expectations were that high. I guess I would say
better. My expectations were QB2 numbers.
Yeah,
and right now he is literally unstartable.
Oh no, yeah.
So at the least, you would want to be able to like put him in your super flex, especially considering most people spent a 102, 103, 104 draft pick on him. Like he has literally been unstartable.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The bar is very low to be a QB2, and he cannot even reach that bar. So I think it's still a disappointment.
Yeah, 100%. I guess I'm just holding hope that I don't think it's a JJ McCarthy situation where I think the quarterback's bad. I think the quarterback is good. He's not putting up points in this situation, and the situation needs to get better.
But for fantasy, we need points.
Exactly.
And a lot of people can't afford to just wait around until they figure it out, because
100%.
How many quarterbacks have we seen where they're just not good for 3 years and then they just have to move on? And new coaching staff comes in and they want to get their own quarterback that comes in.
Yeah. I am, this is more of like a Titan centric thing, but I'm excited to see what direction they go in at head coach and offensive coordinator and that kind of thing. Because it needs to be all about Cam Ward.
Absolutely. Right? You got to see what you got.
My 104. There's so many good choices.
So much disappointment.
So much disappointment. I am going to dip into. Oh God. Okay. I texted you about this earlier, and you sort of didn't feel as much disappointed as I did, and so it'll be an interesting conversation. But I'll take the trifecta. I'm going to take Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson. I'm going to take all three of them. And this is where we talk about the fact that it has completely been caused by the garbageness of the quarterback position, right? With JJ McCarthy, it's been really, really bad. With Max Brosmer, Justin Jefferson, there was one point, Tags, I have never seen this before, okay? I'm a betting man. I like to hit the sports books.
I like to dabble.
I looked at live betting during the Vikings and Seahawks game, because that's the one I was watching. Mainly, my brother's a Vikings fan, so we were watching the game. Justin Jefferson's live line was negative 1.5 yards receiving. That was his live. I've never seen that before. He was one reception for -4, I think, or -3 yards.
Yeah.
And his live line was negative because it was in the fourth quarter before he had that last catch. He ends up at 2 for 4 with Max Brosmer. Now, obviously, we don't have to deal with Max Brosmer again, hopefully.
Yeah.
But even before
I don't know,
that,
man. He was great for Hawk. I've never seen Hawk more productive this year.
He was really good for TJ Hawkinson. Justin Jefferson has one game over 20 fantasy points. And in his career so far, I mean, last season he averaged 18.7. But before that, it's always around 20 points per game. This year, he's averaging 12.86. Now, I think that your point or the defense to this would be, okay, when the quarterback situation gets better, Justin Jefferson will be fine, right? And Jordan Addison, we can talk about him as well, where you cannot start him. You cannot put him in your lineup. He is averaging wide receiver 45 numbers, right? So basically, he's as good as Brian Thomas Jr., and he hasn't scored more than 12 points since week 7, which I think is around when JJ McCarthy came in. So these are guys that were Addison, not necessarily a cornerstone of your roster, but you were relying him as being somebody that was going to be in your lineup, and now you cannot put him in there.
Flex. Yeah,
Justin Jefferson, it's a decision to start him or sit him. He's one of those guys where it's like, oh, you can't sit Justin Jefferson. He hasn't scored over 12 points in 4 weeks. So I'm worried that the quarterback situation doesn't get better. That would be my only concern.
A few weeks ago where I was like, do I start Justin Jefferson or do I start Michael Pittman? And I'm like, what is happening this year?
It's tough.
Like, why should this even be a question?
Like, they cannot go into 2026 without a plan outside of JJ McCarthy. There has to be another option, whether it's trading for Mac Jones, whether it's...
Have you seen a lot of the new rumors?
What are they?
They're talking about them trading for Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, let's Anthony Richardson and JJ McCarthy. Who can miss my receiver by more yards when he's 10 yards away?
Richardson by far.
Yeah,
have you seen the cannon that guy has?
Dude, I mean, there's been talk about signing Kirk Cousins back to the Vikings. Like, so you would think that Justin Jefferson, we talked about last year, how, okay, maybe now he's quarterback proof because Sam Darnold made him relevant, but Sam Darnold's a good quarterback. So if the Vikings find themselves in purgatory here, right now, until we see free agency and I know who the quarterback is going to be, Justin Jefferson will be in a tier below for me. Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Rashee Rice, these guys that are around his age and are supposed to be wide receiver ones. I will not put Justin Jefferson in that tier in Dynasty until I know that the quarterback situation has some hope.
There was a trade that happened this week in one of my leagues, and it was Justin Jefferson, and the guy traded him for Nico Collins and Daniel Jones. And the league was freaking out. They're like, wow, you sold Justin Jefferson for that? And I'm a known Nico hater. We know this about me. And I lean the Nico side because I don't.
Wow.
It's weird because the Vikings don't have the luxury to just do what the Titans need to do and wait.
No, they don't.
So
they have a really good defense. They have a really good offensive line. They have incredible weapons. They don't have a great running back, and
they're just good enough to be out of the quarterback picks for this year.
Yeah.
So,
but also, you can't add a rookie to this. I don't even think that's an option. Even if they had could this be like a Josh Rosen situation? I mean, maybe, but
it could be. But like when you have that team around him, you can't waste Justin Jefferson's prime years trying to figure out the quarterback position.
He's going to be 27.
Yeah, and that's like
you got to figure this out. The
alarm bells are going off. They need to figure out the answer to this question.
And unfortunately, they really screwed it up because they had Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold on this roster
Dude,
in December.
It's wild to think about.
It is insane.
Either one of those guys, you put them in this situation, they're a playoff team.
Oh, without a doubt.
That is the difference with them being a playoff team versus them being 4-8 right now.
And it's hard to blame anybody because Daniel Jones had an opportunity coming into this year. We thought JJ McCarthy was more of a solidified starter than Anthony Richardson, right? So Daniel Jones has a better chance to compete for a starting job in Indianapolis. Sam Darnold gets a guaranteed starting job in Seattle. Minnesota doesn't want to give him the contract because they have JJ McCarthy behind. It's just, I feel for Vikings fans because they were this could have been so great. And it's gone so incredibly terrible. And there's just not a lot of ways to look. There's just not a lot of hope to be had. And that's why I said until I see it, until they trade a third-round pick for Mac Jones, I'm not going to feel good about this.
It's funny because I have a few friends who are huge Vikings fans. And they're just they've been miserable for years because they've just been in QB purgatory. They've had Kirk Cousins, who isn't good enough to get you to a Super Bowl. But he is good enough to become a playoff. You're going into the wild card every year.
Yeah.
And then you're going to lose. And they were so hyped when they're finally we have a good enough draft pick. We can get our franchise quarterback. And then their franchise quarterback they got is McCarthy, who can't even get them into the QB purgatory range. So it sucks to be a Vikings fan right now. I feel bad for all you guys. And it's going to be interesting this offseason because we're all just watching what they do with the quarterback spot.
Yeah.
They're not getting rid of McCarthy. I don't think he has a trade market. I don't think a team is going to want to trade for him.
No. There's no point. But they also selling so low.
Their best course of action is bringing in a competent quarterback that can give him competition where he needs to step up or else he's just done. Yeah. But they have to fix that position. And so I'm not too worried about Addison, Hawkinson, JJ. Yeah. They're so good. The problem is the quarterback. And I think the Vikings have to fix that problem by next season. So I feel like this is just a temporary problem.
So there's a level of trust that you have that they will figure it out, and whatever they do to figure it out will be good for Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I trust them to figure it out. It is a very difficult situation to figure out because they don't have a ton of capital to just be able to get a top-ranked rookie, and the free agent class for quarterbacks is a little sketchy. So it's going to be difficult, but I feel I also hate Mac Jones as a Patriots fan. But get Mac Jones there.
Yep.
That's probably their best course of action.
And in that case, if as soon as that Mac Jones trade hits the notifications, I will put Jefferson back up in that tier. I actually saw him this week after the Amon-Ra injury. I saw a 1-for-1 Jefferson for Amon-Ra, which I think the Jefferson team was fighting for a bye and the Amon-Ra team has a bye secured, something like that. So it kind of was like a trade-off, but I was like, right now I'm taking Amon-Ra. I don't care about the injury. You can't start Jefferson. Amon-Ra and Jefferson are going to do about the same for your lineup in weeks 14 and 15.
At least with Jefferson, I don't think you need a huge upgrade at quarterback for him to get back to the production you need from him.
True.
We had
he's
Carson,
so elite.
We had Carson Wentz throwing him the ball, and he put up a wide receiver 8 and a wide receiver 10 week with Carson Wentz, who had no job before this.
Yes, absolutely.
So as long as they get a competent quarterback, then JJ is going to be fine. He's just too good. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
He's still earning targets, right? Like he's even with McCarthy 10, 11, 9, 12, 9, 6.
It's just the quality of targets.
It's just the target. The targets are terrible, and he only has 2 touchdowns. So he's gonna.
I'm not worried because I think it's a problem that'll be fixed by next year because they have to. They don't have any other options but to fix it.
No, definitely not. Who are you going to take at the next spot? I believe it's the 105. I sort of lumped in a bunch of Minnesota
I'm
Vikings
taking
there,
Jonnu Smith.
This one, yeah, we'll have a conversation here. Go ahead.
Finished as tight end 4 last year, but there's like an asterisk to that because he only really had the full-time starting gig for half a season. He was
an
kind of a mix-in
run.
player, and then as soon as that mid-season hit around like week 8 or 9, he just became a monster because he got all the starting reps.
Tags, you know what you're doing right now? You are underhand Little League pitching me a baseball that says Darren Waller on it. This is what you're doing.
Oh, no.
You're begging.
Anyways, that's all I got. What's your 106?
You're begging me to talk about Darren Waller.
He's got 6.5 points per game and a 0.5 tight end premium. That's good for tight end 37 on the year in points per game.
That's good for the waiver wire.
Only one top 10 finish this year. He's kind of just like, okay, the Steelers are so weird. They're like trying to do the 13 personnel like the Rams are, where they utilize a lot of 3 tight end looks. And they just like constantly, you do not know if they're passing the ball to the tight end. You don't know if it's going to be Freiermuth, if it's going to be Darnell Washington or Jonnu Smith. And I'm like, why did Jonnu want out of the Dolphins so bad? I get he wanted the money, but that's your best situation. And that's your best option to get the production you need to get a higher paying contract. It just felt like a panic, like, oh, I don't know who his agent is, but it seems like his agent was in his ear, like, you're having a great season. We need to capitalize on it right now.
Yeah, which is definitely what happened.
I think it would have been so much more beneficial for him to stay in that situation, keep up the production for another year, and then get the bag. Because going to the Steelers has been awful. Like he's splitting all the reps with 2 other tight ends, and he's unstartable. Whereas last year, like he was selling for a late first in some leagues to contenders. I bought him in a handful of leagues as my contender, and he won me a few ships from it. So I can't even be too mad at him because he paid off last year, but you could drop him. And I bet people wouldn't be clamoring to add him from the waiver wire.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you look at this. If you look at it from the end of last season, so like early in the like pre-draft, before he got traded, right, to now, that's very disappointing because I had a startup where we kind of tandemed the tight end position, ended up with Njoku and Jonnu, and then added Harold Fannin as well as a sort of handcuff there, which now they're both, you can't start either of them, and Jonnu's a disaster. From that perspective, he's been disappointing. Me personally, obviously you and I don't think ever talked about this. Once he went to the Steelers, I was just out. I was like, I don't think anything is going to happen here. I wouldn't have drafted him in any redraft leagues. I didn't. From that point forward, I was like, I'm not going to rely on this guy whatsoever.
I wasn't
But
out because looking at their roster, it's like, okay, he's the second best pass catcher on their team.
yeah,
There's DK
yeah.
Metcalf and then
Freiermuth
him.
has had his moments, but not consistently enough. And after what Jonnu did last year, and I remember looking at his time in Atlanta with Arthur Smith, where Kyle Pitts was there. Arthur Smith likes to use multiple tight ends, and he had some okay games. Like, it wasn't good ever, but he had some fine games, and I figured maybe in a best ball contest, Jonnu could be okay. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He's gone from a guy who won leagues last year. He was the tight end one down the stretch, and to an absolute nothing could be on your dynasty waiver wire. So yeah, incredibly disappointing.
Who's your 106? And do you do anything with Jonnu? Like, are you
Oh God,
moving
no.
them, or you just? I feel like so many of these are like, well, you don't want to move them at their lowest, so you kind of just hold and hope for the best.
I mean, I
Hope
think
for
that
any selling window to open
he
up.
could, yeah, if like maybe the Steelers do an overhaul. Obviously, they're calling for Mike Tomlin's job. If they miss the playoffs, I think it's possible that Tomlin gets fired. I don't think it's likely. I think it's possible. Maybe a new system comes in, one that we project to use the tight end a bit more, and at least we know that tight end is very situation dependent, right? So at least we know in a certain situation, Jonnu can, he can perform and he can produce like a tight end one. So you're kind of just waiting for that to happen. There's not much else to do.
Yeah, he is under contract technically for next year, but we'll see if that holds.
How old is he right now? He's
young for a tight end. He's 30 right now.
Okay, yeah, so he's got time. My next guy, I am going to. There's a lot of old guys we could talk about that disappointed. I'm gonna go with a younger player, somebody who had huge expectations. The 101 in last year's rookie drafts. I'm gonna take Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty, the consensus, no doubt about it, 101 in rookie drafts last offseason out of Boise State. A Bijan level running back prospect. A lot of people were talking about him like he obviously goes in the top 10 to a Raiders team that people were really excited about. The Raiders were like this. The Raiders and the Patriots, I feel, were two teams that in the offseason where everybody's like sleeper playoff team, sleeper contender, sleeper division winner. Obviously, we saw how those two...
Or at least one of those teams panned out.
One of those things worked out. Exactly. Yeah. But the Raiders, people were excited about Pete Carroll. They were excited about Geno. He'd been good on Seattle. They were excited about Brock Bowers, adding a running back, Chip Kelly, who had done so well with Ohio State, right? He was with Ohio State for the national championship last year, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So, just making sure I'm not going crazy. And Jeanty has been fine. He's the running back 11 overall. He's the running back 13 in points per game. And this is the show for players who disappointed you. You were expecting Ashton Jeanty to come out the gates and have a Saquon Barkley rookie season, where he's a top end RB1, where he's producing on a weekly basis, not giving you games of 4 points and 9 points, right? Like he has in the last 6 games that he's played. This is mainly just a offensive environment issue. I think he has like the highest.
It offends me for sure.
Yeah. Yes, I think he has the like lowest yards before contact per attempt. He's like getting hit behind the line of scrimmage over and over and over again. They're starting to use him as a receiver more, which is nice. He has 8 targets 3 games in a row.
It's weird because at some point it flipped. If you're looking at his logs,
yeah, absolutely.
He's got 4 yards per carry, 4 yards per carry, 6.5 yards per carry, 5 yards per carry.
He's had 2 games over 4, which is concerning.
Yeah. And then it drops down to like 3 yards per carry, 3.5, 3.2, 3.1, 1.1. And as soon as it drops down, his targets skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So he's had in the last 5 weeks, he's had 5 targets, 5 targets, 8 targets, 8 targets, 8 targets.
Chip Kelly got fired after the Cleveland game, right? So it's only been 1 game with the new OC. But this is just from a standpoint of some people were ranking this guy in the same tier as Bijan and Gibbs, like coming out of the draft. And he's
Which
not
is wild.
You cannot, but like his prospect profile plus the draft capital plus an offensive environment that we thought was going to be good. You cannot value him anywhere close to that now.
It's almost not even his prospect profile, but his production profile. His college production was obviously off the charts.
Insane.
But I don't think he was ever touted as like the generational talent prospect that Bijan was. We obviously knew he was good, but not to the level of Bijan in terms of talent.
So I guess
this team environment's just so bad.
Yeah, it's a little dependent on how you projected him or the expectations that you had. But this was a guy that was getting drafted in the back end of first round drafts and redraft.
Yeah.
Like the expectations were really, really high, and he has disappointed. I want to look really quickly. So he's averaging 14.8 points per game, and Bijan's rookie season was 14.5. So it's a similar type of situation. Now, since then, Bijan's gone 20.1 and 21.24. So we know that the hit rate on top 10 running backs is absolutely ridiculous. They all go nuts. They're all really good. Besides what is it? Trent Richardson was bad. But besides that, they've all been really, really good. Let me look at this really quickly. Yeah, so running backs drafted in the top 10 over the past, I don't know how many years this is, but it's a little while. Saquon, Zeke, Leonard Fournette, Jeanty, Bijan, Christian McCaffrey.
I feel like the only busts were like Trent Richardson and Rashad Penny.
Well, was Penny a top 10 pick?
No, he was first round pick.
Later first round, but top 10. These guys all hit. They are all really good. I mean, these are the best running backs of the past decade, right? So I have faith that he turns it around. And I mean, right now he is being valued. He's still valued really high. He's the RB5 on Keep Trade Cut, right ahead of Hampton and Henderson, right behind Devon Achane. Oh my God, Tags. You can get Jonathan Taylor and turn him into Jeanty Plus right now, according to Keep Trade Cut. I am salivating.
I guess if I'm a contender and I have Jeanty,
you'd rather have Taylor.
Yeah,
you'd think on a contender. I mean, like not one for one, but I mean in your lineup.
I personally, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. It's not up to what I was hoping. I guess that's another way to say disappointed. But he's still RB11 in PPR. So it could be worse, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
he's been a startable piece.
I think that is,
and
being
a lot of these guys
up.
Are just like, I can't do anything with them.
I mean, yeah, this is the thing. I guess I am not happy with the fact that he has given finishes of 24, 36, 41, 43, 30, 24.
Yeah.
That's too many games on the brink of being an RB3 on the week.
He is currently one of those players where it's like you also can't sit him. Because when he does, he's going to score 3 touchdowns for some reason.
Yeah. So it is. Jeanty disappointed me. I was hoping for more, but I do think that there will be a buying window this offseason, which could be exciting.
And I do. Yeah, it feels like to me. It feels like a buy because the fact that he's also garnering so much.
That's what I meant. Did I say selling window, or did I say buying window?
I can't remember now.
I meant buying window. Freudian slip. I think there's going to be a buying window in the offseason.
Yeah. The fact that he's kind of demanding such a receiving, so much receiving volume, I love to see that. That means he's going to be useful as 3 downs. He's going to be useful in the passing game. Mm-hmm. And I like the workload I'm seeing.
Yes.
And the usage, it's just the production's not there. Mm-hmm. Which to me just feels like a team thing. And I'm hoping they figure it out. I've made this clear. I don't think Pete Carroll's going to be there by next year. I think I think he's going to be one and done, and they're going to turn it over.
I think it's completely dependent on what the general manager wants to do with the team. If he's going into a rebuild,
you mean the owner, because the GM is going to be out. He's got to be fired.
I don't know, man. They really like John Spytek. He came from the Bucks. He came from the Buccaneers. He was under.
He's been so bad though. Like, look at their draft classes. How many players are not even starting?
He only did this year, so he was hired with Pete Carroll, the new guy.
And this year, I think Jeanty is the only player that
it
has
wasn't great.
had any starting time. They have third and fourth round picks that haven't even gotten on the field this year.
Yeah,
and
which
it's not because the people ahead of them are incredibly talented.
But it could be a Pete Carroll thing where instead of playing Jack Besh, he's signing Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
So I could see, so there's a clear disconnect between the GM and head coach.
Yeah.
And that's all honestly why I think Pete Carroll's going to be gone.
Well, because I think they need to draft a rookie quarterback because they're going to have a top 6 pick. And I don't think that he wants to be around for a rebuild. Why would he? Pete Carroll should go like coach pickleball or something. I don't know. He should go to like some like country club and run around there until he is 90.
My fancy pickleball leagues are popping off right now. I don't need him going in there and ruining my production.
He's
in
got
those
so much energy.
too.
I want him to go do something fun, but it doesn't need to be coach football.
Just retire. Retirement's fun.
Dude, you
can go to an amusement park, go ride some roller coasters, go skydiving. That's where he can have fun, not in the NFL.
Has Pete Carroll ruined his legacy?
No.
Has he tainted it? He's tainted it a little bit. Everybody's going to remember when Pete Carroll retired sort of on top at the Seahawks and then went to the Raiders?
If he leaves after 1 year, he's fine. If it's multiple years of this,
if he continues to go down with the ship, yeah.
If he leaves after this year, I think people will be like, "Well, that was weird." Anyways, he was a pretty good coach.
Yeah, okay.
He hasn't ruined it in the extent that like Bill Belichick has.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, we're not a college football show.
That's a whole other podcast. So stay tuned to our college podcast.
Ooh, that'd be fun. I don't think there's any prospects at UNC right now.
I would hate that. Anyways,
yeah. Who's your next guy?
Jeanty, summary, I feel fine with Jeanty. As a Jeanty owner, I'm like, could be better, could be worse. So I feel like I'm just neutral.
Okay.
Gosh. I'm going to pick a player on a team that has known so much disappointment. In fact, they have a nickname for how much disappointment they've achieved. The factory of sadness we're going to Jerry Jeudy, who I bought a lot this offseason.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. He kind of popped off last year. Had this year 6.8 points per game, which is good for on the week wide receivers 71 in points per game this year. And last year he finished as wide receiver 12. He looked good last year. He had that game where he went for over 200 yards.
Yeah, was that that was the Jameis game, right? Against the Broncos, I think.
Dude, can we get Jameis back there?
Okay, I've actually heard this. This is a really good idea, okay? Jameis should be just employed by the NFL.
The universal backup quarterback.
Exactly. And anytime a team, like, dude, he would be on the Vikings.
Someone gets injured, they just like...
he would have played for the Vikings.
They just Learjet him out there.
Yeah.
He parachutes out of the jet into the stadium.
Oh my god!
Crowd goes wild.
WWE, like, yeah.
Oh my god!
It's the Jameis Winston music.
He has his own theme song out of nowhere.
Max Brosmer's walking out to the field for the first drive, and all of a sudden the lights go down. It's the Jameis Winston music. Oh my god! The crowd goes insane. That'd be incredible.
Yeah, we need to write like a. Do you watch F1 racing?
A tiny bit. I followed a little bit.
We need to so Max Verstappen, who's like the best driver, has his own like theme song that people wrote for him, and now it's like a thing.
Oh my god!
And it's like do Max Verstappen. We need to do that for Jameis Winston.
Oh, he needs a theme song.
I'm gonna pitch this to the NFL. This is my exact pitch. Oh no, quarterback down on the play. It's Stafford. His shoulder's injured. He's going into the blue medical tent. Boom, 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 boom.
He's just a superhero.
Boom, boom, boom. And then you just see like it cuts to his shot on the big board, and it's Jameis Winston in a plane.
It's like, how did he get here so fast?
Puts his goggles on, parachutes out, just skydives into the stadium, ready for the first play.
This is an incredible bit. Jameis at 12:30 Eastern, he gets on a plane, and he just circles the United States.
Oh yeah, he's constantly doing laps around the U.S.
He's doing laps, and then they hear, he may. Stafford might be hurt in New Orleans. Okay, they head to Louisiana. Oh, we hear Aaron Rodgers is down on the field in Pittsburgh. He's got a bloody nose. Reroute back up.
Dude, they're doing laps around the U.S. waiting for that call.
That's incredible.
Honestly, I would love it. I'm all for that idea.
But back to Jerry Jeudy, a much more exciting conversation.
I forgot what we were talking about for a second. He finished as a wide receiver 1 last year, and this year has one wide receiver 11 finish. And outside of that one wide receiver 11 finish, he hasn't even finished once inside the top 32. He's not even like, I have him in the league where I'm like, I'm desperate for him to be in my very last flex spot.
You can't.
I'm like, dude, get me 8 points. Give me 8 points. We're even. That's all I need. I don't ask much from you.
It's the meme of the guy on the boat and he's holding the dish and he lifts it up and there's just nothing in there. It's just empty.
God, it's been so bad. And he's like the only wide receiver option there. And Fannin is now their only receiving threat, apparently. And Dylan Sampson for when he needs to push off a 65-yard touchdown catch.
It just all looks bad, too. Like, he's yelling at Shedeur on the sideline.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just a mess. I mean...
At least they have Deshaun Watson.
Hey, man, Steve Smith was right.
Activated this week.
Oh, I saw that. What is going on? Steve Smith was right. But yeah, I mean, Jameis Winston propels him to a incredible run, but he was bad before that. Like, he was only good once Winston got in there.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, Winston made Isaiah Hodgins good this season. Like, I feel like maybe there's the learning here is to take anything Jameis Winston produces with the biggest grain of salt you've ever seen in your life, because he'll just go into a team, he'll make somebody irrelevant, a wide receiver 1, and then he'll leave. Like Joe Flacco, I was excited about Jerry Jeudy because I was like, oh my God, he gets Joe Flacco, who targeted Jamar Chase 23 times in a Thursday Night Football game, right? Like, and then Joe Flacco looks terrible on the Browns, moves to the Bengals, and all of a sudden he's good. So I don't know. The Browns are an absolute mess, and yeah, Jerry Jeudy.
I'm currently taking notes on lessons we learn from these players, and I will share them at the end of the segment.
This is good.
But it's a good lesson from this one.
Yeah.
Anyways, who's your 108?
Let's go to... I'm going to go DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf moves teams this offseason. He's away from Seattle for the first time ever. And DK Metcalf has put up 3 weeks as a wide receiver 1 inside the top 12. He was one of the guys that we talked about as a candidate for touchdown regression at the beginning of the year, and it has happened. He hasn't had a touchdown in 5 weeks, and in those 5 weeks, he has finished as the wide receiver 76, 46, 33, 22, 55. So, really bad. Just really, really bad. Him and Rodgers not really on the same page. The targets are there, but he doesn't have a game with 6 receptions. Tags. Not 1. 6. That's not a high bar at all.
To be fair, he does have so much receiving competition there.
Well, of course. I mean, how could he possibly produce with 3 tight ends and Calvin Austin on the field? What is he supposed to do? This is his worst season by points per game of his career, just under 12. He's right now the wide receiver 37 in points per game. He's also 28 years old. Is it over? Like, I mean, this could be... We may never hear of DK Metcalf again because we could see a lot of change in Pittsburgh. I don't know what the quarterback is going to be, but them, honestly, if Rodgers retires, they're in a worse position than Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like, what, they're just going to sign a... they're going to trade for Kyler Murray? Oh, that is so... You know what? I'm stamping that right now. Kyler Murray will absolutely be a Pittsburgh Steeler. That is he's going to be...
I mean, Kyler's going to be traded for
You would have to think. But that seems just...
They bring Justin Fields back.
Kyler Murray, DK Metcalf. I can't think of a worse match. I don't know why. That just sounds absolutely terrible.
I just like the thought of them standing next to each other.
Yeah, when the wide receiver's 6 inches taller than the quarterback. Has that ever worked? Ever? I don't think that's ever worked.
Pretty sure DK's like a foot taller than him.
Probably, dude. Honestly,
Dude, Darnell Washington standing next to Kyler. It's like your 4-year-old little bro came out to play Thanksgiving with the rest of the high schoolers.
Darnell Washington must be like 120 pounds heavier than Kyler Murray.
At least he's like 2 Kyler Murrays. Is that Darnell Washington or 2 Kyler Murrays in a trench coat?
In a trench coat, yeah, exactly. But DK Metcalf, I mean, dude, it might just be over. Like, he has this insane contract. Unless the situation gets a lot better, like he was the wide receiver 8 in points per game as a sophomore, and he hasn't been inside the top 20 in points per game since then. And now he's had 2 back-to-back seasons. When you start to see this downward arrow, it doesn't often shoot back up late in the career, right? And so,
dude, his contract is wild.
It's insane.
4 years, $132 million.
He's like a top 5 paid wide receiver in the league.
Almost half of that is guaranteed. Annual salary of $33 million. They don't have a potential out until 2027, and if they get out in 2027, it's going to be a lot of dead cap.
Yeah. So
Oof.
I mean,
well,
I want to see, where is he being valued on KTC right now? Doing a lot of scrolling to find him here. Okay, so this doesn't make any sense to me. He's 2 spots behind Devontae Adams. He's 3 spots behind Michael Pittman. He's ahead of Luther Burden.
He's ahead of Michael Pittman?
No, he's 3 spots behind.
Okay.
Pittman's 28.
He's
DK Metcalf's wide receiver 31. He's ahead of Luther Burden. He's ahead of Wandale. I'd rather have Wandale. I would rather have Sutton, who's behind him. I would rather have Stephon Diggs, who is behind him. I mean, you can't play him. Like, you're just hoping for a boom game, and it doesn't come very often. So the schedule isn't terrible. Baltimore, Miami, Detroit, and then Cleveland, which is bad, but yeah, it might be over for DK.
Sorry, there's a random thing I just saw on Keep Trade Cut. How is Jaden Higgins ranked almost the same as DK Metcalf? I just did a side quest to shit on Jaden Higgins real quick. He's done nothing this year.
What is with you and the freaking Texans, man? You're just a hater.
I hate their whole wide receiver core, apparently.
I mean,
I'm just saying, why is Jaden Higgins above Michael Penix, Troy Franklin, Wandale Robinson, all these guys, and he's done literally nothing this year, and he's had every opportunity to do something.
Yeah, he's getting targets. I mean,
anyways, I saw that and had to go on a side track. I went on a little side quest to shit on the Texans.
Let me look at this really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, and let me just count here. Do some counting. 1, 2, 3. DK Metcalf and Jaden Higgins have the same amount of games inside the top 26 wide receivers. So that's fun.
I don't know if that's a good thing for Higgins or a bad thing for DK.
I think it's neither. I think it's bad for everybody.
I think it's just bad for everybody.
I think we could probably both get one more name in here before we have to call it.
For DK, I think he's kind of done because, like, who knows what that team's going to look like next year. Honestly, everyone's probably hoping Aaron Rodgers doesn't play again. But then, like, what's your alternatives?
Yeah.
Honestly, trading for Kyler Murray is going to be their best alternative. I don't know if they want to take on Kyler Murray's contract where they're paying that much money to Kyler Murray and DK to then potentially be just as unproductive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what their alternative is. We just kind of have to wait and see what kind of magic they pull out. But yeah, I'm out on DK. He's been rough, and I don't feel optimistic about his situation improving.
Yeah, I am absolutely with you. Your last name here.
Oh, there's so much.
There's a lot of disappointment
to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to the GOAT, the fantasy football GOAT, Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I totally thought you were gonna say Lamar. That's so funny.
No, Lamar wishes.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara, okay, he's averaging 9.2 points per game this year. And in PPR leagues, And I thought that'd be like literally impossible for him to do. Doesn't matter how bad the Saints would be. I figured he'd at least be like 13, 14 points per game.
Yeah.
Given the fact that his PPR, he's not even being used in the passing game like anymore. And when he's running,
hurt.
He's averaging 2 yards per carry. Like I don't know. It's rough. Like he's averaging running back 36 points per game this year. Only scored more than 15 points once this year. And you know how much he scored?
16?
16 points.
There you go.
He's only scored more than 10 points 5 times this year. And that's in points. That's in PPR leagues, which that's not even usable in your flex. He's just been toast. I have him in one league, and the league is unfortunately half point PPR, and he's unusable.
No.
He's just been on my bench. I've had guys like Harold Fannin in the flex over him because they're going to score more points than him. He's just been kind of dead in the water. So, what are your thoughts on Alvin Kamara? Is he done for? Does he pull out another few productive seasons?
I mean, it's really hard. Like last year, he was running at 4.2 yards per attempt, and this year he's only down to 3.6. Like, I don't think the offense is much worse. Like, the offense was really bad last year. It's bad this year. But he's the running back 9 last year, 68 receptions. He averaged 5 a game. This year he's only averaging 3 a game, only 3.5 targets a game. His percentage of the carries has gone down a lot. Obviously, him getting injured factors into that a little bit. But yeah, I think they're preparing for life after Kamara. But also, the Saints are in cap hell, right? And
they can't get rid of him.
No, and he doesn't want to leave. He would have left. He signed a 2-year extension in 2024, so he has another year on that.
Yeah, and they gave him a guaranteed contract, which was kind of cool to see a organization back their franchise player. You don't really see that very often. But yeah, he's got a contract fully guaranteed. Obviously, that changes if he willingly walks away and he retires. Maybe he does. He is going to be 31 by the start of next season. So this could be him walking off into the sunset. And if you have him on your fantasy teams, you might just be toast.
I didn't realize this. Am I looking at he has 1 touchdown this season?
Yeah.
And it was in week 1.
It's been rough.
I mean, when the offense is that bad, and it's just a recipe for disaster.
The offense hasn't been that bad to warrant that production level, though.
No, not this.
It's a problem with game scheming for him, and because like Olave's been productive, Tyler Shuck hasn't looked awful. So,
well, here's the thing, Alvin Kamara.
I just don't know what to do with him.
I think that maybe at this stage in his career and his skill level, giving him 8 targets a game is not the best thing to help this team win. Potentially, maybe that's how Kellen Moore is looking at this. He's a young offensive mind. He's been good for Olave. You would think that's probably better. Maybe. I don't know. This is obviously incredibly disappointing. He has 2 carries inside the 5. Like, they just don't really get to the goal line that much, and when they do, they just don't want to use them. So, yeah.
Which normally hasn't been a problem. That's been him for most of his career. And
he makes up for it in the receiving game, and he isn't doing it this year.
Yeah. That's what his production is from as a receiver. He's a glorified receiver in the backfield, essentially. And he just had 0 receiving workload. And that's his best skill set to create fantasy football production. So if they're not using him in that way, he's just kind of toast to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't see how you would project it to change much next year. And then he's just going to be he's going to end up being Austin Eckler, which is very sad.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just holding, I think.
Yeah, because you can't really sell him.
What are you gonna do? Yeah,
I tried to sell him for a 3rd in that league, and they were just like, "Nah, I'm good."
I think I watched him go for a 3rd in a league that I'm in.
In a PPR league, I feel like a 3rd feels fine. kind of taking the bet that like maybe he is still productive next year and
it just
kind of
feels...
retains his passing workload.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of the only bet you're making with sending a third away.
He's ranked one spot ahead of Ramondre Stevenson on Keep Trade Cut right now, so that's fun.
Get rid of them both home.
Trade Kamara for Ramondre.
What's your last pick?
My last name. I mentioned Lamar there. He was a name that both of us, I think, thought about. My main thing. My name is not Lamar. It's gonna be somebody else. Real quick on Lamar though. I literally just think he's hurt, and once he's not hurt, there's too much of a track record of him being an incredible fantasy quarterback that this 3-game stretch does not concern me.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not one where it's like, okay, what do I do with Lamar? Well, you know what to do with Lamar. You hold.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you sell him for a Lamar price because the name value alone, he's still going to go for 3 to 4 firsts because he's
Lamar. Tried to.
Why wouldn't he?
I had a little tiny conversation about Lamar for Mahomes plus in a league. Heading into the playoffs, I have Lamar. I just trust Mahomes more. It just didn't materialize into anything. But you just hold. You hope for the best. And in that league, maybe I'm doomed because he's not going to help me win a championship because he is going to be bad for the rest of 2025. But long term, I'm not concerned. The quarterback that I am going to talk about is Baker Mayfield. A little under the radar, maybe. But Baker last year averaged 21.5 points per game. He was the quarterback 4 in points per game, finished as the quarterback 4 overall. And this year, he's averaging the quarterback 16 numbers. And I think a lot of people had Baker propped up above like the Dax and Goff and these other sort of late 20s, early 30s quarterbacks who, like Jordan Love is in that range. But these sorts of guys who are going to be guys that you want in your lineup that can put up a lot of points, but they're not young, right? And Baker has just been really, really disappointing. And his value hasn't really changed much from it. It feels like him and Dak have kind of flipped from last year. Dak is now the guy that's putting up the crazy numbers, but I'm disappointed in Baker. After coming off such a huge season, obviously they lose their offensive coordinator, and he's dealt with the loss of a lot of weapons, but he dealt with that last year. There were games like Jalen McMillan ended up being productive because Mike Evans was out for some time. Chris Godwin obviously had the devastating injury. And Baker was just like putting up top 6 quarterback numbers week after week after week. And now he's not really doing that. I was in a lot of startups where I saw him be the first quarterback drafted of that group ahead of Brock Purdy and ahead of Dak and CJ Stroud and Jared Goff and Trevor Lawrence and the younger guys or Kyler Murray as well. And I think you're just disappointed with how that turned out because he hasn't been a guy that has been bringing you lots of production, and he's really just a streamer now instead of one of those guys that you feel like you can have in your lineup every week, which he was last year.
I mean, in Superflex, I feel like he's still a must start unless you have like Dak and Mahomes.
Probably. Yeah. Like he has to be in your lineup. He's just not helping you out a whole lot in there.
But he's also not losing you weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
He's definitely been down though. And I kind of attribute it to the loss of his weapons. It feels like he hasn't had his full repertoire the entire season. He missed Mike Evans. He's missed Godwin for almost the entire year.
Until now, yeah.
He's back, and Godwin, like this last game, looked really good.
Yeah, so he had a really bad drop in the end zone, but yeah, he looked good.
Yeah, but other than that, he looked pretty good. So I'm hoping he picks it up. I feel like teams kind of keyed in on Egbuka, and we're just like, we don't have to stop anyone but Egbuka.
Yeah, let's let Tez Johnson beat us.
Yeah, so I feel like now that he has Godwin back, now that he has Bucky back, is Mike Evans going to come back at all this year?
Dude, his window got open today.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Just in time for playoffs. Let's go.
I freaking dropped him in the flock league because it was like 6 to 8 weeks is best case scenario, and the 8 weeks was like week 17. And I was like, yeah, okay. So the best case scenario, he's back for the championship. Okay, yeah, great. And now he might be back this Sunday.
Yeah, they're saying this practice window is open today.
Yep.
So I'm not worried at all because I feel like once he gets his weapons back, he's going back to QB1 numbers. Obviously not like QB4, what he was doing last year. But as long as he puts up QB 8 to 12 range, I'm totally happy with it. That's kind of what we expect from his value and his production. I've got him everywhere in leagues. I've got him in probably 8 of my like 16 leagues.
Really?
And I feel fine with him. It's just
so
the fact
now
that
I'm
like
understanding
that,
that this take is completely biased and nobody should listen to anything you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Just so we're all on the same page.
But like you see his production earlier in the season, he was putting up the numbers we want. Like 28 points, 23 points, 20 points, 27 points, 32 points, 26 points. And then it plummets as soon as Mike Evans got injured because they had no Godwin. All they had was Igbuka. And teams eventually were just like, we're just going to bracket Igbuka, take him out of the game. They had no Bucky. That whole stretch of bad production kind of correlates with the timeline of losing Evans, losing Bucky. So I'm not worried about it because he's about to be full strength soon. If he struggles when he has Evans, Godwin, and Bucky in, plus Igbuka, then I'm like, okay, there's definitely been a regression here. But I see the correlation of the weeks where his production dropped due to the fact that he lost Bucky and lost Mike Evans. And those are two huge losses to that offense. So I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah.
And I haven't been impressed with him, but I haven't been disappointed. He's still putting up decent enough numbers where I feel like he's not a hindrance to my team.
I mean, games of 4 points against the Saints and then 5 against the Rams is pretty brutal, but I get what you mean.
Not great, especially the Saints game.
Yeah, I get what you mean. And yeah, I mean, his lowest score was 19 before week 7, and then week 7 was when Mike Evans went down. So yeah, I completely get what you mean. I think that just the disappointment factor was coming off the quarterback 4 overall finish to drop down to now he's just in this cluster of all of these quarterbacks who are streaming options in a 1 quarterback league and just fine options to have in your super flex. I think a big take that I'm going to have this offseason is that I don't want to go into a year with my quarterbacks being like Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield and then no quarterback 3.
Yeah.
Like I always want to have an option to rotate because I don't want to play a Baker Mayfield, a Jared Goff, a Jordan Love every single week.
Having a very solid QB3 feels so nice.
It does feel really good.
Like in IDL, I've got Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, and Dak. And feels wonderful because no matter what, I have a startable option. Even if Dak was like a Goff level quarterback, I just want someone who like I can rely on, or a Daniel Jones. Give me a Daniel Jones. Give me a Darnold. Give me a Stafford. Give me any of these guys as my QB3, and I'm very happy because I feel safe. Like there's so much room for variance, so much room for injuries to happen, and it not tank my team because of that.
Yeah, and you play the matchups, and you're hopefully fielding the best possible combination of quarterbacks every week, as opposed to just being like, hey, I hope Love figures it out this week. I hope Purdy figures it out this week because I have no other option.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that is our little players who disappointed draft. I think this was good. Just sort of getting all these negative emotions out as we head into the playoffs and everything's exciting. I have a win and in team, like I said, rooting for that this weekend.
Yeah. What's your state of your leagues? How many? How are they shaping up?
I think I have like 2 buys, two first round buys, maybe 3. I have that 1 winning in, and then maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other playoff teams that I feel good about. I'm in a league where you're in the other half of this league, but it's a best ball. and it's a 16 team. And I went 13-0, and I'm the 2 seed. I don't have a bye.
That's crazy.
7 teams make the playoffs. There's 7 playoff teams as opposed to 6 in a normal 12-team league. I went 13-0, and another team went 13-0 and scored a insane amount of points. And so I am I'm the 2 seed.
Can't imagine having a perfect season and you're like, yeah, here's the 2 seed.
Yeah, no bye. I have to go through 4 rounds of the playoffs now.
Oof.
So that's fun. You?
This year's been very good for me. I've got 16 leagues total. 3 of those are like I just sold everything. They're heavy punt leagues, rebuilding, no aspirations. Out of the other 13 teams, one of those was supposed to be a punt team, and just all the players progressed a lot this year, and they're going to be sneaking into the playoffs. I've got probably about 8 teams that are like, they're just kind of juggernauts. Like they're already locked into a playoff spot, so this week doesn't matter. And then I have 2 teams that are kind of like must-win territory this week. One of them I was expecting to be a contender, and it's just been rough.
Yeah.
It's just been a down year. The team's kind of led by Bowers, and Bowers has been
my winning in team is the same way. I had Bucky, Scattaboo, CD, who missed a ton of time. All these guys who have just been disappointing, but I'm like completely sold out to the point where like I need to try and get a chip this year. And if I get into the playoffs, my team looks great now with Bucky coming back and all this stuff, but need to get in week 14.
And the other win now team is like a team I didn't even expect to be there. So I feel like if I get in, cool. If not, it's fine. I've got plenty of draft picks to build with. It's just, if I get into the playoffs, it's like I'm playing with house money because I'm like wasn't expecting to be there anyways. Yeah. So it's been a pretty good year. It's only going to be stressful for one league. And then I have one league where we're fighting for the last bye spot, and I'm playing against the person I'm tied with. So it's basically win and get the bye spot. So I'll be watching that game a bit.
People hate on divisions. Okay. A lot of people don't like divisions. This is a conversation that Tags and I have with other members that we're in leagues with all the time. People don't like divisions, but you don't get this kind of stuff if you don't have divisions. We have the first 3 weeks and the last 3 weeks of the league, because it's 3 divisions of 4. The first 3 and the last 3 weeks of every season, regular season, you're against your division mates. And so now Tags is 10-3. The second place team in his division is also 10-3, and they're playing each other for the bye week. So
super fun.
It's a big deal. Like that and the team that loses.
I've been calling this week the division championship week.
Exactly. It literally is. You set up these awesome matchups, and that's going to be fun to monitor through the weekend. Good luck to all of you in your playoff pushes towards the end here. May everybody win a championship, unless you're against me. And thank you all so much for listening. Hit the like button on the video on YouTube. Subscribe. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Do all the liking and rating and all that stuff over there.
Let us know who your most disappointed player was.
Yes, let us know in the comments who disappointed you the absolute most in 2025. We'll have a little support group in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Later.